Maureen O'Sullivan.
Thank you. We seem to have a tendency in this country of not leaving alone those organisations that are working well, and I think that's at the heart of the topic tonight. Our post offices work very well. They provide a range of services in a very friendly, helpful, courteous way, and there is a potential for them to provide even more services, and now we find that they're under threat. I think the slogan of the Postmasters Union group, "Don't let the heart of this community die," is very apt, because post offices are at the heart of communities, and we look at the range of services that they offer to all ages. What they want, and I acknowledge the work of the Postmasters Union on this, is for the government just to simply keep the commitment that they made in the programme for government, which means coming up with a plan, because without a plan there are serious difficulties for the continuation of the post office network. And I think it's vital that the government honours that commitment and comes up with the action plan with the timelines, because nobody wants to see the demise of the post office network. People trust their post office. They have built up relations with the staff. The post offices are reliable and they're dependable, and they're extremely receptive to those people who, for various reasons, don't want to do their business online. There's a personal touch in the post offices to a much, much greater degree than in the banks. And I know that any time I go into a bank in recent times, I seem to be constantly directed to a machine. Well, I don't want to do business with a machine. I want to do it with a real person, which is the service that I get in the post office. And when you look at the range of services, the obvious ones like social welfare payments, savings, passport service, paying bills, posting of letters, cards, packages, stationery supplies, and they're also a centre of information on all the other services that are available within the communities. So they are a real asset to our communities, and I think that there are serious implications of not having a plan to ensure their sustainability and viability. What will happen, we'll see a drop in employment figures, and we'll see a closure of perhaps up to 500 post offices before 2017. The Postmasters Union has been referred to have commissioned 2 reports, and the first one was really showing a series of proposals that could make the post offices more sustainable, and each proposal had a cost-benefit outcome, and the estimation was that those proposals were implemented that over 80 million in savings could be realised, and most of them would be to the benefit of the taxpayer. And when the union asked for a follow-up study, it found that the sustainability is at risk because of the government attitude towards contracts like welfare payments. Now, the welfare payments through the post office works very well because the staff know the people who are receiving the welfare payments. If somebody doesn't turn up, because the staff has that personal relationship, there will be a follow-up in the case of an accident or something worse. The Postmasters Union tell us that their staff are a fraud deterrent element because people present in person, so the staff know that person, so the impersonation is eliminated. Also, if the payment is not collected within a certain time, it goes back to the Exchequer. But if this is done electronically through a bank, there is no oversight whatsoever. The post office play a really important role in budgeting, because when people come in, they can pay off their bills, and they can also use the television licence stamp as a way in order to build up the money for the licence. I can't see the banks providing that sort of a service. Also, banks are not always so easily accessible between the closures and the amalgamations, whereas the post office is very accessible to all of our communities, because many of the post offices are on streets with other smaller businesses. So going to the post office, people will shop locally. Close the post office, we'll see other local businesses closing and more ghost villages. I think the post office provides an excellent service when it comes to the passport, when it comes to state savings, and I think there is a role for them with the new driving licence initiative. Now, when I read Deputy Healy's motion first, and I think great credit to him for bringing this to the Dáil, I couldn't envisage a government amendment, because Deputy Healy is just basically calling on the government to come up with a comprehensive action plan, and the government have acknowledged that the network is a vital asset. So the amendment also from the government acknowledges the uniqueness of the post office network, and the word in the government motion is how it is essential to local communities and the country. So if it is essential, and we're all agreed on that, why is there an amendment, and why are we not accepting Deputy Healy's motion? I do accept there have been changes due to email. I don't think that decline is irreversible. I'd hate to think that we're going to lose the art of letter writing, and I think what could have been lost if email had been invented years ago. Now, your amendment also acknowledges how suitable the post office network is for over-the-counter business and service. And you say also maintaining the post office network is at the heart of national and local community life. Now, competition law and procurement are all very well, but I don't think they should be at the expense of a viable, thriving business that's providing essential services to the communities that we all represent in both urban and rural areas.
Now call Deputy Philene McGrath. 5 minutes.